Okay. Hello, everyone. This is Jonty. Today is December 11th. We're continuing on with our Circassian TPRS classes. My voice is coming back, so it doesn't sound like I have rocks in my throat anymore. So we're here. How's everybody doing? Oh, yeah, good, yeah. Really? You're doing good, or you're just barely living? How's everybody doing?
Excellent.
Oh, yeah, I like the
Right.
lies.
That was.
What do that was? All right. So let's go back. Remember, we're in a story. There's three types of people in the story. There's a boy named Nart. There's me, who's a robot, and there's you. All right. Do you guys all remember your characters? Ramzi, what was that?
I just remember it starts with a K.
Afaqua, dancer.
Afaqua.
Afaqua. Albert, what was that?
I don't think I'm involved with this. I missed like 2 weeks of class.
Played hooky.
Yeah, I was away.
All right. So you look at the characters. They're spelled in English and in Circassian. You think about who you want to be. I'll come back to you. Okay. Aliyah, what was that?
I have same situation. I missed the last class. So.
Okay. So you think about it too. I'll come back to you.
Okay.
Dimaza. You're on mute, Dimaza. What was that?
I don't know because I wasn't last.
Oh my gosh. Okay. You think about who you want to be also. All these people that are, I don't remember who's in and out of the class. Hadi. Sasos us. What was that? Woyiniz is the monster.
I was going to choose that.
Lalina, what was that?
Самохож.
Melros, what was Melros? Kirill, what was that? Anagaf. Us, you're the scientist. Tal'a, what was that?
Samusha.
What was Mrs. Yeah, Vimpu di Akamarasi, what was Mrs. Jandilara. Did you choose a character?
I did choose now. I want to be Shanaraj.
Anagaf. Okay, so if I ask you what was that, how do you tell me that you are Shanaraj?
Se Shanaraj. Shanaraj.
Sasis Anagaf.
Sesis Shanaraj.
Nilgun, what was that?
Sesi Melrosh.
What was Melrosh? Sos us. Ziwar, what was that?
Sesihama.
What was Hamas? Atsa. Albert, what was that?
Absent.
Sith?
Absent.
Kapsens. Khons, you're the tiger. Kapsens. Aliyah, what was that?
Sasithakos.
What was Chakos? Okay. Dimaza, what was that?
Se Tchakwa.
What do you attack? Chakos. Khonsta. Okay. So these are your characters. You are now a member of the story. Achadokwa. Okay. Oh, this is every time this happens. Give me a second here, guys. This is why I'm not a big fan of Google Sheets. Okay. So we went through this before. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this. This is all, we've covered this, right? So mirs alles, alem yitzar narch, aller adigas. So class.
Sit.
So sa adiga. Ramzi.
Sit.
What would Turk?
Hawa. American.
What Americans?
Yes.
What? Okay, خونش what Americans أو أدية.
Oh, yeah.
أنت طوري Americans ري what أديس خونشتا. هادي.
Tet.
What ورس?
Hawa sesi adiyesh.
What أديس. دماذا. Alia American.
I don't know, but ay Çerkezce. Aliya Adireş.
Alia Adigas. Arpej. Washa. Wawa Adiga.
Nute. Seri Adireş.
Albert.
Yeah.
Wawa Harap.
Wow, Sadigas.
Wawa Adigas. Alia.
Sid.
Sitwa. Sitwa da Shapwa.
Sasadhish.
Wari wa Adigas. Who knows what means Shap?
Nation.
Nationality. Nationality, yes, correct. Narod по-русски. Tal'a.
Sid.
Wawa African.
Hawa. Sesi Adigesh.
What dana was dana was sha'a?
Sen Madagaskar Ash.
What Madagascar was sha'ash. Wawa African come. Wo Pejo Adiga.
Nta.
Adiga ka Madagascar ship sawra. Ya Allah, ya Allah. Kirill. Wawa American.
Hawa. Sesi Worth.
Wawa Waris. Iblaga yapash. Welcome.
How shall I say? Russian and Jewish.
Sasa Waris Yichi.
Worth,
Sasa George.
George.
George. Jurd is Jewish. Jurd.
Jewish.
Mhm.
Worth. Or E.
Or you know, the easier say, just say Russian Jew. So Sasa Waris George.
Worth George.
Waris George. Russian Jewish person. Lalina.
Sid.
Wawa Waris Jurd.
Hawa. Sadigas.
Wari wa Adigas. Jandilara.
Sid.
Sasa Turk.
Hawa. Adireş.
Wasa Wasit.
Seri Sadireş.
Haj. Nilgun.
Sid.
Wawa Harap.
Hawa. Sisi Adigesh.
What Pajiwi wa Adiga?
Page.
Wow. Situfa. Ziwar.
Sid. Schor.
Wawa Turk.
Nata. Awas Sesi Adigesh.
قصقروا
Orizagosu.
انت خنشتا we all have
Usually Sesiri.
انت وسيري مشش arashi adigabzcha. So in English this let's talk about this for a minute. In different countries it can be seen as different to say that you're this or that. So in the United States, for example, it's very common, it's very acceptable, and I think Canada as well. In North America, it's very common, very acceptable to say, I'm Italian American, I'm Greek Canadian, right? These are all completely fine. There are some parts of the world where somebody would say, oh, if you're not part of us, then you are an enemy of us, or you're against us, or you're separate from us. Some parts of the world, some people think like this sometimes, okay? I personally think it's great for all Circassian people to have different parts of their identity. You know, I'm a citizen of this country, I live in this area, and I have this nationality. This is a beautiful thing. The way that we would say this in Adigabza, to show that respect and show that pride, right, without saying anything negative. So Ziwar, you would say, Sa Syrium, so I'm from Syria. Sa Turkum, Shupso, I live in Turkey. Sa Adigas. And by saying that, you acknowledge that you are a citizen of Turkey, you live in Turkey. There's no negative, it's a positive thing, but you're also saying that you are not an ethnic Turk, that your nationality is Circassian. Does that make sense to everybody?
Yeah.
Yeah, and how would we say it nationality wise, like passport wise?
Passport. So you would, well, okay. So as I said before, you would start off with Sasitzer Ziwarsh, Sasa Adigish, Syrian Shish, Turkum Sashopso, right? So that's how you'd say all those things. And then there is a word, and I'm not, some people may not know this word exists, but we have this word. Qaralugwa. قرالغة. I'm a citizen. قرالغة. Se Türk'üm se قرالغة. This
Can you write that in the
nuance,
chat?
this nuance of nationality and citizenship is not commonly discussed among Circassian people, but the word for citizen, so like, for example, there is no American ethnic group, right? America has all different people. Canada also, there's no people who come from America. Well, the settlers killed many of them, the Native Americans. But what I would say is, I am a citizen of the United States.
Jonty, can you write that word in the chat?
I'll put it on the screen. That's even a little bit easier for everybody. Give me a second here. I'll put it up here. I'm sorry, not qaralagwa. Qaralagaqwa. Why is this not working?
It means citizen. That's right, Jonty.
Citizen, yes. Qaralagaqwa. So, and what that comes from is qaral is country. Aqua is the one who's doing it. So it's the one from that country. So let's see. Qaral. Qaral is country. Qaralagaqwa. Qaralagaqwa.
Janti, I don't know if this is correct, but I have something here for citizen, Grajdanin. Does that sound right?
Grajdanin. Yeah, that's a Russian word though.
That's Russian.
How can I say I live in Adiga land?
Sa adiga khakum sa shopso.
Very long.
Sa, yeah, so I live in Circassian lands. So sa adiga khakum sa shopso. So adiga khak is Черкесский народ по-русски. It's exactly народ. It's exactly народ. Khak is exactly народ. It doesn't mean country. It doesn't mean, it just means homeland. So sa adiga khakum sa shopso. I live in Circassian homelands. Okay. All right. So let's continue on. So, you know, give me a second. I need to just fix these slides. It's just going to be terrible. Give me a second here. So for those of you who were in the last class or not in the last class, we are going through this TPRS method. And what I'm adding to the TPRS method is more practice with Circassian verbs. And the reason that I'm doing this is many of you have some Circassian that you speak. And many of you have fear or anxiety around speaking the language because you're afraid of making mistakes, right? So we've had that conversation. My experience in learning Circassian and teaching Circassian and speaking Circassian is that a lot of those mistakes, they come because of verb complexity. We have complex verbs, right? So I've heard a lot of you say, you know, it's all the prefixes, right? And then when we ask a question of the verb changes again, right? And then there's lots of ways that verb can change, and that's just one verb, right? So what I'm trying to do is get us very, very comfortable to speak these verbs. I'm gonna go back to share. To speak these verbs and using TPRS to get us all with that comfort level, okay? So we're gonna go back and this will be a good review for many of you, and for others who were not able to join our classes, you know, you guys can participate as well. So class, alırım apsasha. Alırım apsasha. Alırım apsasha. Sasıp sasra. Egypt'u Khajabs b'sathra yijibstu.
Hawa.
Awa khajabs b'sathra qam. Yijibstu khat b'sathra.
Shalash.
Khat b'sathra.
Shalash.
Rash. Saso b'sathra. Saso b'sathra. Wawa b'sathra.
Hawa.
Awa. Wawa b'sathra qam. Khat b'sathra. Sarash. Saso b'sathra. Yijibstu khat b'sathra. Khajabs hamra sh'ala. Sh'aler ma b'sathra. Sh'aler ma b'sathra. Ramzi,
Good.
Yijibstu wa b'sathra.
Inta.
Intasit.
Sa subsatha.
Wawa b'sathra. Aliyah.
Sit.
Ramzi b'sathra.
Nta Ramzi. Hawa. Mapsalta.
Ramzi ma b'sathra. Wa b'sathra.
Sari subsalta.
Wa b'sathra. We never put ush on the end of b'sathra. Okay, wa b'sathra. Paj. Albert.
No,
Khat yijibstu b'sathra.
what b'sathra?
Saso b'sathra. Sh'aler ma b'sathra. Sh'aler b'sathra.
Zazamiza,
Zazamiza ya khunshta dal'a.
Good.
Yijibstu khat b'sathra.
Yijibstu se subsatla.
Wa b'sathra. Sasha b'sathra.
Yijibstu wo b'satla.
Pej, wapso. Kirill.
Good.
Wa b'sathra.
Nta se subsatla.
Sh'aleri b'sathra.
Shaler mabsatla.
Sh'aler ma b'sathra. Lalina.
Sit.
Yijibstu khat ma b'sathra.
Yijibstu shashem b'sathra.
Sh'aler ma b'sathra. Sh'aler hamra khajabs b'sathra.
Shal.
Wa hamra sa b'sathra.
Wow b'sathra.
Saso b'sathra. Pej. Jan Dilara.
Sit.
Wa b'sathra.
Nita se subsatla.
Khat yijiri b'sathra.
Yiji wow b'sathra.
Pej, saso b'sathra. Sh'aler b'sathra.
Nita sh'aler b'sathra.
Sh'aler ma b'sathra. Pej. Nilgun.
Sit.
Jan Dilara yijibstu b'sathra.
Jandilara Yijibstu Psalter.
Pej. Jan Dilara yijibstu b'sathra qam. Saso b'sathra.
Wapsalter.
Pej, saso b'sathra. Wa b'sathra.
Seri Wari Shaleri Dopsalter.
Pej. Dabsori do b'sathra. Pej. Ziwar.
Sit.
Yijibstu nilgun b'sathra.
Hawa. Yijibstu nilgun b'satla qam.
B'sathra qam. Pej. Yijibstu nilgun b'sathra qam. Yijibstu wa b'sathra.
Nta sari wari dobsatla.
Do b'sathra. Pej. Khunsh. Everybody feeling comfortable with this verb form? Do b'sathra, right? Oh, I'm sorry. So b'sathra, wo b'sathra. Okay. And hang on, I see in the chat. Sari wari. Sari wari, you and I. Sa is I, wa is you. So sari, I and also you. And the way we say in Circassian is I and also, you and also. That's just how we say it. So I think people are comfortable with this, right? Now many of you picked up on this, and in the last class, so some of you know this form, and in the last class we went through this form, but there's a difference between if I say I'm speaking, sa so psatla, but if I'm asking myself, hey, am I the guy speaking? Now this may sound strange, but I have small children, and sometimes I'm like, hey, and they're just playing and they're not paying attention to me. I'm like, hey, am I talking? don't you hear me? So I will use this, we can use this in common expressions. But what's important here, just to note, and I tried to highlight this in the colors. Sa, so, psatha. Sa, sip, psatha. Wa, wo, psatha. Wa, whoop, psatha. And then ar, mupsatha. Ar, psatha. Okay, so I'm going to reverse this. I'm going to ask you questions, but then I'm going to ask you guys to ask each other questions, not in the breakout room here. Okay, we're going to get comfortable with this form. Okay, so Ramzi.
Sid.
Aler psachera.
أنت شعلر تاثر.
Aler mapsachera.
مبساثة.
Sa subsachera.
أنت ومبساثة.
Wa whoopsachera.
Okay.
Wa whoopsachera. So let me do this. I don't want to create a busy slide, but what I do want to do is bring this here. So you guys let me know if this is helpful or confusing. Let me just move this little guy up. Okay.
Can I say وبساثرة?
No. So forgive me that the slide is a little messy, but I want to put the statement form and the question form. Okay, so sasopsacha, wa wopsacha, ar mupsacha. This is the correct statement form where we're making a statement. Okay, the question form, sa sipsachera, wa wopsachera, ar psachera. Right, so remember, and I hope the color highlighting is helpful. So again, sopsacha, the so becomes s, and I add ra. All of them I add ra. The wo becomes w, and the ma we drop it in the question form. And if you answer in the affirmative, you do not put us on the verb. Okay.
Okay.
All right, so
Ask me again.
okay, so let's do this again. Ramzi.
Good.
Sasapsatra.
أنت وبساثرة. وبساثرة.
Wopsatra.
وبساثة.
Wopsatra.
I'm looking at the I speak. I'm sorry. Okay.
So remember, if I ask you, Sasapsatra, the answer is Wopsatra. And if I say Wopsatra, the answer is
ساسوثاثة.
aha, Pej. I'll come back to you. Bimaza.
Sit.
Ask Ramsey if you are speaking.
Sorry.
Go ahead. You see him on the screen. Ask Ramsey if he is speaking.
Sipsachera.
أنت ساسوثاثة.
I'm out. So she said, am I speaking? And you said, yes, I am speaking. So she asked you if she is speaking. So how do you answer her?
Oh, I thought she was asking me if I'm speaking.
That's what I told her to ask, but she asked something different. So let's just go with it. So Dimaza, ask him, say exactly what you said before, but ask him again.
Se sopsache. Sopsachera.
أنت وبساثة.
Sasipsachara.
Se sipsachera.
Ramzi.
أنت وبساثة.
Aha, wopsachara. So Ramsey, this is something a lot of people have. A lot of us have anxiety. And when we have that anxiety, we doubt ourselves. You have learned very nicely how to make the th sound. And sometimes you say it perfectly, and sometimes you struggle with it. And it's clear to me, you know how to make it. You just have a little bit of anxiety. So I just want to acknowledge, you know how to make the sound. I've heard you make the sound. Just start to get more comfortable with it. All right. That's just a little pro tip for you. Dimaza, ask Aliyah a question, any type of question, whoever's speak. It could be you. Ask her if you're speaking, ask her if I'm speaking, after if she's speaking, whatever question, just ask her some question.
Janti me psashere. Hava. Janti psashere.
Uh-huh.
طيب حوا حوا جانتي بساتركم.
Satharqam. Satharqam. Okay. Aliyah, ask Albert a question.
Albert, لماذا بساترة؟
الإجابة مبساطة.
Mapsasha. Albert, ask Dal'a a question.
I'm sorry, who?
Dal'a.
Allah. لماذا الإجابة بساترة؟
Egypt'u ve
Upsatharqam. Okay. Dal'a, ask Kirill a question.
Kirill Egypt'u het وبسلسلة.
What are you trying to ask him?
I want the answer is Egypt'u subsahalara.
Okay. So you want to ask him Egypt'u het psathara.
Kirill Egypt'u het psathara.
Egypt'u ve وبساشة.
Wopsatha. Wopsatha. Sathara is question form. Wopsatha, statement form. Okay. Albert, do you have a question?
Yes, I don't know if you covered this in the past here, but on that first line, I speak, am I speaking? We have sasopsatna, then sasipsatna. Why the saw and then the s?
Because it is.
Okay, that's the way it is.
That's the way it is.
Okay.
That's the way it is. Why do we say I am and I was in English? It's just the way it is.
Okay.
Just the way it is. Okay. All right. Kirill, ask Nilgun a question.
Nilgun Egypt'u subsahalara.
Subsathara.
Subsahalara.
Yanıtı Egypt'u ve وبساشة.
Nilgun, ask Hadi a question.
Hadi Egypt'u Albert بساشة.
Our Egypt'u Albert psatlarkım. Egypt'u very seri topsatla.
Pej, what is the dopsatha? Hadi, ask Lalina a question.
Lalina Egypt'u Wopsatlara.
How subsashakım.
Okay. Lalina, ask John Dilara a question.
Can Dilara şal Egypt'u psashara. Evet. Şal Egypt'u psashara.
Shaler Egypt'u psathara.
How was Shaler Egypt'u بساتركم.
Pej. And Jan Dilara asks Ziwar a question.
Ziwar, وبساترة.
Da idziebstu se sobsatla.
Pej. Okay. So, Shaler mapsatla. Sasopsatla. Wowopsatla. Ar mapsatla. Shaler mapsatla. Afakwa mapsatla. Melwa mapsatla. Shanagatler mapsatla. Tchakuri mapsatla. Robatri mapsatla. Okay. Sasapsatla. Wowopsatla. Shaler psatla. Robot psatla. Tchakwa psatla. Shanagatler psatla. Okay.
What
And then
is Shalagaj?
Shanagat is scientist.
Oh, okay.
Shanagat is scientist.
Is it both scientist and a scholar?
Yes. Scientist, scholar, could be a researcher. It's
What
someone.
is scientist Shana Wolf? I thought you say Shale Wolf.
No.
Is it with
So,
L or with N?
so here it is on this page. Shanagat.
Shana Wolf. Okay. Good.
A man who does knowledge. Shanagat. It could be a woman. The root word shan is to know. Shanagat is a man who's making it known, but that's just the root. A woman could be shanagat. A man can be shanagat. A robot could be shanagat. Okay. So, mapsat, sasopsatla, question form. Chat psatlara, right? Chat psatlara, sasapsatlara, wowopsatlara, arpsatlara. What does chat mean? Ooh. Okay. And I think we all have been exposed to the negative form to make it negative, right? We add qum, and the negative form is similar to the question form. So let me put, again, this is a little messy, but just bear with me. Give me a second here. I know this is a little bit messy. I apologize for that. So you can see the question form and the negative form are related, right? So to say I speak, Ramsey, how do I say I speak?
Subsathra.
Sopsatra.
Sopsatra.
And no. Sopsatra.
Sopsatra.
So hang on, let me do this. New slide.
Sasopsatra.
Sasopsatra. So this is the statement form. This is the question form. And then the negative form. Again, it's a little messy. I'm doing this quick, but okay. So, sasopsatra, right? And then the question form is a little bit different, but you can see here on a side-by-side basis, the question form and the negative form, they follow the same prefixes, right? So, Ramsey, would I ever say sasopsatlakam?
No.
No. How would I say I don't speak?
Hold on, give me a second. Wapsathlakam.
Wopsathlakam. Wopsathlakam. Correct. So does everybody see this structure? Is this structure kind of popping out? Right? So we have a statement. All verbs follow a similar structure. There's a statement form, and that statement form is always going to have these prefixes. Okay. And the prefixes are, there's a couple of different types of prefixes, but they always follow this structure. But then when you ask the question form, these prefixes almost always change. They almost always change. We almost always drop the m, and we typically will add the r. And then to make it negative form, you can see the prefix is the same as the question form, but instead of the r, it becomes rqm. Right? Does that structure make sense to everybody?
Yeah.
Concept is clear? Now, the reason that I'm doing this deep dive on verbs, once you learn one, all the others will become easy. Who remembers how to say fly, like the verb I'm flying in Circassian? Satan. Satan. Okay, so check this out. Satan, satan, to fly. I fly. Sasoshata. You fly. Wowoshata. He flies. Ar mashata. Am I flying? Sasashatra. Are you flying? Wowoshatra. Is he flying? Ar shatra. Same structure. Right. So once you get a comfort level with these verb structures, it's going to be now that's an exact same structure. There's other verbs that have different structures. But once you learn 3, 4, 5 verbs, you will develop that confidence that I know a lot of us struggle with about those prefixes. That is the root, in my opinion, that's the root of the lack of confidence that we have, because we know there's some prefix there. We know there's something we're supposed to say, and sometimes we leave it out, and then we're not sure, and we don't feel comfortable. We don't feel confident. Okay. So let's keep going on. Okay. So I'm not teaching you incorrect Circassian. I'm not teaching you incorrect Circassian, but I am simplifying it. I am simplifying it just to make it so that there's less moving parts. So I'm going to ask you now a question. All right. And you can give me one of 2 answers. All right. The first one is wish. He wants to. I want to. We're not conjugating the verb. It's a very simple kind of informal response. It's not wrong, but it's not 100% correct because these are verbs. And in future lessons, I'll teach you how to say these verbs. Some of you may know already, wish, right? But if we say he wants to, or I want to, wish. And then that's this verb here, right? And then if we say likes to, he likes to, I like to, fuffs, fuffs, okay? Wish, fuffs. So, Ramzi.
Sit. Boy, why is Hannah speaking?
Okay. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. What does the word such mean?
Why?
Why? Why? But look at this. There's 3 word roots hidden inside of it. Sit and adigabza means what?
What?
What?
Yeah, I'm sorry. It means what? What does the word sha mean all by itself?
Head.
Head. Okay. And what does it mean when we add cha to the end of something?
By means of.
By means of. So the word sichhacha is why head by means of. We want to know what's in your head. Why are you doing this?
Oh.
Why? We want to know what's in your head. Sichhacha.
Sechwesh.
Huesh. Sechwesh. Okay. Sechwesh. All right. Shaler sichhacha psachara. Just say huesh.
Huesh.
Huesh. Huesh. Aler huesh. Okay. Dimaza.
Sıt.
Shaler sichhacha psachara.
Ar hueş.
Huesh. What if I say because he likes to? How would you say that?
Ar fefş.
Arf afsh. Aliyah.
Sit.
Such hatcha subsashara.
Ухуй.
Huish. Sequish. Wuhuish. Sequish. Correct.
No, but if you say that why you talk.
So well, I didn't want to make the slide too busy. To say you want, wuhuish. Wuhuish. If I say I want, sequish.
Yeah, I'm asking because I thought this is what you asked.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Albert.
Yo,
Aller sich hatch absachtere.
Arjuez, die geeft op zijn Juez.
Huish. Tal'a. Sich hatch absachtere.
وفيش
وخويش شبقى ستشبقى
وفوش
وفقفش. Yeah, I like to speak Circassian. Haj. Kirill. Sich hatcha wapsathara.
Huish.
Huish. Nilgun.
Sit.
Sich hatcha Kirill psathara.
Kirill Sashan Huish.
Psathan huish. Hadi.
Sit.
Sich hatcha subsathara.
وخيش.
Sehuish. Lalina.
Sit.
Sich hatcha hadi psathara.
Arjuez.
Arquish. Jandilara.
Sit.
Sich hatcha wapsathara.
Sashanu. Inflection.
Ufafsh.
I have
Do you-
a question.
Yes.
Can you sometimes put the sh at the end of the verb and sometimes not? So it's depending on the word.
Yes. So I've already put the ash at the end of it for you here. So in this case, these are verbs and we do say ish at the end. So we never put ish at the end of psasha, but we would put ish at the end of these verbs.
So you wouldn't say where wuhui.
Only if you're asking question.
Ah.
Wuhui.
Don't you have to say where wuhui?
No,
I thought for questions we need the R and E.
that's why I said most of the time.
And not every
Not every
question
time.
with RE? Okay.
But are these also verbs?
What's that?
Different. Is it also verbs?
Even though they're
Question,
verbs, yeah.
But some different class of verbs.
Yes. So there are ways you can say it with ra at the end, but the simplest way to say it is with no ra at the end.
But with Sashan, you have to say it, right?
Yes.
Well, you can't
Wupsasha.
say well wupsasha.
Can't say
Okay.
that. Okay. Jandila, I'm sorry, Lalina.
Sit.
Aller sich hatch absachara.
Arfafs.
Arf afsh. Ziwar. Woof af psachano.
How?
Woof aftam.
Says
Who knows how to say like somebody's a real talker. They like to talk a lot.
What the psasha?
Psachere. Psachere. You add re to the end of a verb. It's somebody who likes to do it. Ar afaresh. He likes to dance. Ar psacheresh. He talks all the time. He likes to talk. Ar shcheresh. He likes to eat. I call my son. What's that?
When we add reish at the end of the verb.
It means it's somebody who likes to do it a lot. So I call my son taqore. He's a farter. He likes to fart. All right. So I'm trying to introduce a little bit more vocabulary. So Ramzi.
Sit.
Wopsatlanu wofwe.
Sehuish.
Wopsatlanu wofaf.
Safafsh.
Dimaza.
Sıt.
Ramzi psalhanu khwe.
Nte ar khwesh.
Arkhwesh. Wowo khwe.
Nte se khwesh.
Wowo khwesh. Sitwo khwe.
Se adıgı no.
Yeah.
Se spsale khwesh.
Wowo psalhe wo khwesh. Khunsh. Alia.
ست
Wof afra. Wo psalhanu.
حوا صفف
Wof afra. Wo psalhere.
حوا سبسلريكم
Wo psalhere. Sasa psalhere.
شام
Sasa psalheresh. Albert.
Sit, gently.
Wowo khwe. Psalhanu.
So quedu suhuesh, subsalen. Subsalenus quedu suhuesh. Yeah.
What wo psalhere.
Oh, double subsalen.
Wo psalhere. Tala.
Sit.
Wa vimpu khwe.
Nta.
Vimpu khwe.
uh,
Penguin.
Penguin.
Vimpu khurp afra wa. Woof af.
It's
To like.
what does it mean?
Up is right here. It means to like.
It's question.
Vimpu khurp afra wa.
Nta se fafsh.
Sasaf afsh vimpu khur. Nta. Kirill.
Ed.
Was so cheap afra.
Se fafsh.
Woof afsh Sochi. Nilgun.
ست
Wo khurp afra.
سه كيكور صففش
Hadi.
Sit.
Wa Lamborghini wo khwe.
Da se Lamborghini squash.
Lalina.
Sit.
Wa akhsha kwad wo khwe. Akhsha kwad wo khwe.
Da se ashkhwan. Gut.
Akhsha kwad.
Ashkhwan suhuesh.
Ziwar. Wa wuzin shaga wo khwe.
That's khwesh.
So af khwe. All right. I like, I want. All right. Concept is clear.
Yes, sure.
Okay. We're going to go back into psalhen. Okay.
What does Homei mean?
Khome.
Homei.
Khome, you don't want. Or if you don't want.
There is the song Homei.
Oh, yes.
So like there's my dad would always say, whether so when you put that to if you want, or if you don't want, you've got to do it. So I was like, it does whether you, it's like when you put that all together, whether you want to or not, you have to do it. Whether you want to or not, you've got to learn Circassian. Whether you want to or not, you've got to wear a mask. So which, okay, class.
ست
Class.
That.
Aller adigabzitcha mapsatha. Aller adigabzitcha mapsatha. Ramzi.
Sit.
Chat adigabzitcha psathara.
Chaler adigabza mubsathara.
Adigabzitcha mapsatha.
Adigabzacha mubsatha.
Mapsatha. Aller wursibzitcha psathara.
Hawa. Chalish were zibzacha بساثقم.
شالر ادي ورسبزتشا بساثرقم. دمازة و حرب بزتشا وبساثرة.
هوا سه عرببزة سوبسالقم.
حرب بزتشا وبساثرقم. وتركب زتشا وبساثرة.
نوتة سه تركزبزة سوبسالة.
أليا
ست
خط يجبستو ادي جبزتشا بساثرة.
شاتل هوا جانتي وأدقبزتشا مبسالة هوا وبسالة.
وتركب زتشا وبساثرة أليا.
هوا ست تركبزتشا سبسالة
باج وبساثرقم سبساثرقم وباجو جقاش ورسبزتشا وبساثرة.
نطاسة ورسبزتشا سبسالة
ويجبستو ورسبزتشا وبساثرة.
هوا يجبستوسا أدقبزتشا سبسالة.
باج ألبرت شالر ورسبزتشا بساثرة.
ادي مبساثة.
ادي جبزتشا مبساثرة وادي جبزتشا وبساثرة.
دابو سبساثة انا كويس.
أزقروقة طلع
ست
يجبستو خط ادي جبزتشا بساثرة.
يجبستو وأدي جبزة وبساثرة. وبساثة.
وري ادي جبزتشا وبساثرة. يجبستو
انت سريع أدي جبزة وبساثة.
ويجبستو حرب بزتشا وبساثرة.
شرقم.
ويجبستو حرب بزتشا وبساثرة.
سأرب بزجة سبساثقم.
باج وحرب بزتشا وبساثرقم. كريل وينجلب زتشا وبساثرة.
انت سينجلبزتشا سبسالة.
ويجبستو ينجلب زتشا وبساثرة.
هوا يجبستو أدقبزتشا سبسالة.
باج نيلجون
ست
خط يجبستو بساثرة.
يجبستو وبسالة
ست خود بزتشا بساثرة.
وأدقبزتشا وبسالة.
وري ادي جبزتشا وبساثرة.
سه أدقبزتشا بسلان سخيش.
وبسخن خويش يتشي وبساثة يجبستو وبساثة.
أمجين
هادي
ست
خط يجبستو حرب بزتشا بساثرة.
زري يجست حرب بسجة مبسالة.
زري يجبستو حرب بزتشا بساثرقم.
بساثرقم.
What does the word ziri mean?
Someone.
No one.
No one.
Ziri. We can say ziri, we can say zimi. It depends. Right now, it's ziri, right? Ziri also means nothing.
But it means one.
Z means
That's
one.
right.
Z means one.
There is someone.
Zagwar. Someone is zagwar. So Z means one. Ziri means nothing. It also means no one. Okay.
Okay.
And Hadi perfect. It was a tricky question. Hadi got it perfect. Lalina. Shaler adi gebzitcha hama wurisibzitcha psathra.
Shaler adgabzitcha psathra.
Wa wurisibzitcha wupsathra.
Ntasa wurisibzitcha subsathra.
Wa yijibstu wurisibzitcha wupsathra.
Hawasa yijibstu adgabzitcha subsathra.
Pej. Jandilara.
Nıta.
Xet yicipstu yincilibzıç apsalhera.
Yicipstu ziri incilipsece psalhıkım.
Pej yicipstu ziri yincilibzıç apsalhırkım. Wa yincilibzıç awapsalhera.
Nıta se incilipsece psalhı.
Wa yicipstu yincilibzıç awapsalhera.
Hava se yicipstu incilipsece psalhırkım.
Xet yicipstu psalhera.
Yicipstu ueri seri psalhı.
Sıç haça.
Adirepsece want to learn.
You can say the wish we
The
want.
wish. Ah,
The wish. Ziwar.
نتا
Wa ورسبزıç awapsalhera.
زازمزة سوبساتل
Zazamıza wapsalha. Yicipstu ورسبزıç awapsalhera.
أو يجيب ستوس رسبزة سوبساتلقم سأدي قبزة سوبساتلا يجيب ستو
Adigabzıç awapsalha.
نتا أدي قبزة سوبساتلا
Pej. Kirill, I see a question you have in the chat. I'm not following what it is.
You are answering often with this what something like else.
Is it wish?
Maybe you are commenting maybe when the people answer.
Pej.
Else.
So yeah, Pej. I'll put that into here because the group chat is not able to be seen on the YouTube video. Oh my God. Pej. So the word pej means correct, true, right. And then I add the ish to the end of it to make it a statement form. Pej. Pej. Pej. Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Anytime. Okay. So are we developing confidence with this verb form? We're feeling comfortable about it. We're not changing the verb form. We're just adding more richness to what we can say, right? Sa sopsacha, sa yijipstu sopsacha, sa adigabzach sopsacha, sa yijipstu adigabzach sopsacha, sa yijipstu yinjilibzach sopsacharkum. Right? Everybody's feeling comfortable understanding what I'm saying? Yes, Talat.
Janti, can we answer like that? Sopsalhera.
Sipsachera. Remember the question form. The question form always has to have this. Sipsachera. Sipsachera.
So John, if you want to say I'm speaking and writing at the same time. So we know that if we add the ra, it means like and or eg. So does it work with the verbs as well?
It does. So you could say sopsacheri, sotcheri. So to connect the verbs, the ra becomes ri. Or you could say sopsach. No. I think it sounds better to say sopsacheri, sotcheri.
Okay. So for names or adjectives, it's ra, but for verbs, ri.
Yes. And you can also default to yichi.
Okay.
Sopsacha, yichi, sotch.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So let's keep building on this, right? So everyone, what I'm trying to get you guys comfortable with, we're in the story, right? But we want to get really comfortable with this verb in the story so we can keep going into the story. So we're paused at this level of the story. We're walking around this little level of the story so we can get comfortable around this. Okay. So if somebody asks you, we all kind of get that. So we've learned these major languages that we all probably have I have no idea how to say Estonian, but, or Latvian or any of the Baltic regions, but we'll figure that out. So now we're going to get into sitsola. What does it mean, sitsola?
When?
When, right? So what I've done, I'm still playing with the slides. Remember how we used to have the slides with all those question words? Well, I didn't always use the question words. So now I'm introducing them one at a time to make the slide a little bit less busy. You've seen, if you look up here, you can't see my finger. We see up here, there was no questions. Then we talked about chet psachera. We went through that. Sit, right? Then we went through this stuff. Then we said sich hacha, right? Hues, fafs, right? Then we went into what languages. So we're building that comfort with the verb. And now we're going to talk about sitsola. Sitsola. When? Shaler yijipstu mapsacha. We all know this word. We've been using it a lot. Yijipstu, right now. Right now. But there's other expressions of time. Sitim deji. Sitim deji. Sitim deji. It means all the time. Sitim deji. Sitim deji. Right? We have sometimes, I heard Ziwar use this. Zezamiza. Zezamiza. And then we heard, and then often, quadra. Quadra. Quadra. Okay? Is there anybody other than Kirill? Is there anybody here who has never heard these words before? Is there anybody here who has never heard the word sitim deji?
That sounds like a question to me. With the sit in there.
It has sit in it because I would literally translate this to whenever. But we use it as all the time. It's not a question. It does have sit in it, but it's not a question. Okay. Is there anybody here who has never heard the word zezamiza? Okay. Is there anybody, this is probably one of the most common of these. Anybody here who never heard quadra? No? Okay. So Kirill, these are going to be 4 new words for you, but we'll go really slow and we're going to build more comfort around this. Okay. So Ramzi.
Sit.
Het Egyptstu psachera?
Egyptstu shaler, jantish psachera.
Janti mapsachera.
Psachera.
Or wa wopsachera.
Wa wopsachera.
Ramzi.
Sit.
Wa adigabzacha wopsachera.
Inta sa adigabzacha subsachera.
Sopsachera. Wa Egyptstu adigabzacha wopsachera.
Inta Egyptstu adigabzacha sopsachera.
Wa sitim deji adigabzacha wopsachera.
Sahwesh.
Wahwesh. I like that answer. I like that. Wa zazamiza adigabzacha wopsachera.
Inta sa zazamiza adigabzacha sopsachera.
Wiadr quadra adigabzacha psachera.
Inta siada sitim daisy adigabzacha mupsachera.
Bravo! Oh my God. Amazing. Amazing. Amazing. Dimaza.
Sit.
What? Yijipstu turkibzacha wopsachera.
Hava se nijipstu adigabze sopsale.
Adigabzacha wopsachera.
Adigabze sopsale.
Wa zazamiza turkibzacha wopsachera.
Hava se stimdeji Türkizibzece sopsale.
Bravo! Bravo! Wa quadra yinjilibzatcha wapsalera.
Nıte. Se kodre İngilizce sopsale.
Perfect. Amazing job. Albert, you have a question?
Yeah, for all the time. Couldn't you say zipamua?
Huh?
Zipamua for
Zipamua means without fail, like without exception. Or no, zipamua.
I thought that was all the time.
No, zipamua is not all the time. It's like zipamua. You ever hear the word? You ever hear the word ziqamina?
Say again.
Ziqamina. There's lots of words in Circ. You know how sometimes somebody who's speaking British English, they might say something like, "It's not that I don't disagree with you." They'll use a triple negative.
Yeah.
There's a couple of words like this in Circassian. Ziqamina means like without exception. Zipamua means like without obstruction, but it doesn't mean all the time.
Okay.
Aliyah. Хат иджыпсту хьэрыпыбзыкӏэ псалъэрэ?
Зыри иджыпсту адыгэбзэкӏэ псалъэркъым.
Пэж, зыри иджыпсту хьэрыпыбзыкӏэ псалъэркъым. Уэ куэдрэ инджылыбзэкӏэ уапсалъэрэ?
Нтӏэ сэ куэдрэ инджылыбзэкӏэ сопсалъэ.
Уэ сытым дежи туркыбзэкӏэ уапсалъэрэ?
Хьэуэ, сэ туркызыбзэкӏэ. How do I say never?
Зей.
Зей псалъэркъым. Сопсалъэркъым.
Pej. Let me add that to the screen here. That's a great word. Let me add that. Give me a second here. Zey. Never. Or if you hear the way my daughter says it, Zey. Baba Zey. We're never going to play together. What afacha? You're not my friend anymore. Insert. How do I insert? God. Let me see this. If I don't know how to edit this thing. I'm just gonna put it put it here. Z. Sorry, there's no transliteration. Never. Okay. Albert. Pardon me. What Turkibzitcha whoopsashara?
Oh, it's Turkism. South African.
What Egyptstu Yinjilibzitcha whoopsashara?
Egyptstu Hawa. So the gives us a Sasapsatla.
What Zazamiza Adigabzitcha whoopsashara?
There's a miser, yeah.
What quadra Yinjilibzitcha whoopsashara?
And that's a quadra injured. I can't even say English now because
Yinjilibzitcha subsasharkam.
Yeah.
Okay. Tal'a. Khat Yijibstu Turkibzitcha psashara?
Zeri Turkibzitcha psashagam.
Wa Sitshoga Adigabzitcha whoopsashara?
Zeri Miza Adigabzitcha sopsasha.
Was as a miza adigabzitcha whoopsasha. Wa quadra adigabzitcha whoopsashara.
Hawa zazimiza adigabzitcha sopsasha.
Wa sitimdeji turkibzitcha whoopsashara.
Nta sitimdeji turkibzitcha sopsasha.
Kirill. Wa Yijibstu Wurisibzitcha whoopsashara.
Hawa se Wurisibzitcha Egyptu subsacricum.
Pej, wa urısıbzıça yicipstu vopsalırkım. Wa quadra yinjilibzıça vopsalırı.
Се интеллигенция квадра субсахса.
Wa zezımıza adigabzıça vopsalırı.
Only in this class.
Zezımıza.
Zezimiza.
Konsta. Nilgün.
Sit. Sit.
Yicipstu Kirill quadra adigabzıça psalırı.
Hawa Kiril Kodre Adigabzeche Psalırkım.
Wa zezımıza urısıbzıça vopsalırı.
Nete se zezemize urısıbzeche sopsalı.
Wa quadra yinjilibzıça vopsalırı.
Nete se Kodre İncilibzeche sopsalı.
Vopso. Hadi.
Uj.
Sıt.
Wa sitşoğa urısıbzıça vopsalırı.
Se zey ursubsamce spsalırkım.
Pej. Wa ze urısıbzıça vopsalırkım. Wa quadra yinjilibzıça vopsalırı.
Da. Se kodre yinjilibzemce sopsalırı.
Yinjilibzıça.
Yinjilibzece sopsalırı.
Wa zezimiza harpibzıça vopsalırı.
Hawa se zey harapibzece sopsalırkım.
Pej. Pej. Candilara. Xet yicipstu Türkibzıça psalırı.
Yici ziri Türkupsıca psalırkım.
Pej yicipstu ziri Türkibzıça psalırkım. Wa sit şoğa adigabzıça vopsalırı.
Zuhweş.
Vuxueş awa sit şoğa vopsalırı adigabzıça.
Se zezimize adigabzeche sopsalı.
Wa quadra nemetsibzıça vopsalırı.
Neta se quadra nemetsibzeche sopsalı.
Opso. Lalina.
Sit.
Wa quadra nemetsibzıça vopsalırı.
Hawa se zey nemetsibzeche sopsalı.
Sit şoğa. Wa sit şoğa yinjilibzıça vopsalırı.
Se quadra İncilibzeche sopsalı.
Sıç haça.
Se hweş.
Vuxueş. Afra yinjilibzıça vopsalano.
Neta.
Saf afş.
Neta safofş İncilibzeche sopsalı.
Konsta. Zivar.
Da.
Wa sit şoğa Türkibzıça vopsalırı.
Zimahol. Sorry. Sitim değiş.
Sitim
Sitim
deji.
değişi se Türkubze sopsatla.
Sitim deji wa Türkibzıça vopsalırı.
Da.
Wa quadra harpibzıça vopsalırı.
Seri de sitim değişi harabibze sopsatla.
Sıç şoğa wa yinjilibzıça vopsalırı.
Si ofum. Si ofum quesh.
All right. I can tell you how to say it, but it's going to be it's more grammar. So sasışalajma yinjilibzıça sopsalırı.
Sasılajama pardon. Sasılajama sen İngilizce sopsatla.
Konuş. So we have a few minutes left before the formal class ends, but how are people feeling with this approach where we build around the verb, we keep using it, we add more details around it. We say, I speak, sopsatla, sa adigabzicha sopsatla, sa quadra sopsatla, sa quadra adigabzicha sopsatla. Is people feeling comfortable with this? Do you guys feel like this is a good use to build that confidence, to build that command of the language?
Yeah, I think it's great.
Yeah.
It's not boring?
No.
No.
Okay. Because when I'm always sensitive, I want to be entertaining, I want it to be fun. I don't want this to be listen and repeat, because then it's like, oh, let me just work on repeating these sounds. I'm trying to make it interactive. I try to mix it up a little bit so no one can predict what I'm going to ask you, so are people feeling comfortable with this? You like this approach?
Sure.
Yep.
Okay. So, what I plan to do for when we go, this is basically the structure. When we go through the story, every time we hit a verb, we stop the story and we circle around that verb and we keep adding an adjective or a noun or an adverb or something so we can keep building the structure. So if you see here, we're not going to do this today, but when we go into the next class, oh, I didn't drop the vocabulary. So what I want to do in the next class is drop in, sa sopsatla, sa quad sopsatla, sa tamamu sopsatla, sa eo sopsatla, right? To build all these adjectives. I speak well, I speak poorly, I speak a lot, I speak little. So this is to the question of dawa, right? So before we learned some vocabulary around time, right? All the time, sometimes, often, right now. And then here, I'm sorry, I'm still getting over this cold. We would talk about how we're able to speak. Because I see a lot of times, not just in this class, everywhere, I see people say, and they're trying to say little. I know they're trying to say little, but and tsuk does mean little. But we would never say sa tsuk sopsatla. We would say sa tauk sopsatla. So if somebody then asks you, right, the goal of this is right? So we can start to build a nice little dialogue.
Sorry, can we say technique?
You can say taknita. It's like tauk means a little, taknita means like a little tiny bit. And then finally, we would end this with dena. Now, this is a new verb form to say, and this actually, give me a second here. I just want to make sure there's no mistakes next week. So then when we talk about where, we have to put a different prefix in, right? But then once we go through these 8 forms of the verb, we can go to the next step of the story and we can learn a new verb. And we'll have those 8 steps again, right? Who's doing the verb? What is the verb being done? Why are you doing the verb? And you're now starting to build that confidence with these 2 other verbs that we haven't even explored yet, sechwesh, sefafsh, right? We talked about sitsoa. When do you do that verb? How do you do that verb? Where do you do that verb, right? And slowly we'll start to build that confidence. And once we get 2, 3, 4 verbs down, the structure is going to snap into place and we're going to be able to go a lot faster because that structure is going to be in your brain. Okay. So I'm going to stop the screen share. And I'm going to stop the recording.